Okay, here we are back inside Matrix Gold once again. Thanks for tuning in. Hope the videos are helping your designing process. If they are, please subscribe. Tap on that notification bell for further content. Leave me a like. Absolutely, please take 5 seconds. Go ahead, drop a comment in there, and share the content for others. We had a lot of questions on tapered baguettes here lately, and I have actually been thinking about this for quite a while on how to present this out, because tapered baguettes, there's just so much involved in. There's so many different ways. And so what I'm going to do is kind of start from just the very, very basics general, and then slowly move up to things that are a little bit easier, and then a little bit things that are more detailed. And whenever you're dealing with tapered baguettes, I guess the one word comes to mind, and that is patience. It's a little more time consuming. Even inside Matrix 9, they had some builders, but still there was, if you wanted it to lay out properly, there's still a lot of little things that you needed to do to make sure that you had everything laid out decent. But again, when jeweler goes to set the baguettes with shrinkage in your model and everything, it never really comes out exactly the same way. So keep that in mind as well. But it'll be pretty close. At least they'll give them a good a guideline to go with. And we want to know our gemstones so that when we go to our tech report, that we can at least have those laid out for the jeweler to kind of get a reference from. But if you want to, you could always go in there and measure each stone out as well too, I guess. But let's go ahead and start from the very basics, and that would be just going from gem and grabbing a gem and going over here and changing from round to baguette, right? And we have our baguette out there, right? Now, there's something right away that you'll notice when you're trying to do a baguette. If you want a certain size, say I want this 4 millimeter lengthwise, I want this 2 millimeter 2 millimeter here, I want this 4, so I got the 2 and 4, but this goes to 1.5, but maybe I want that a 1, so I tried to drag it down. There's a 1, 2 and 4. Okay, so if you hold down shift and move that, you can get that, but sometimes it's kind of, see it jumping around to different heights and widths, so sometimes it's not real easy to get things exactly where you want them. So sometimes you might want to come over to your list here and click on your unlock it, and then you can type in exactly everything that you want. Maybe that thickness is a little too deep, or so you could just go in there and type in a point 0.05 with a 0.05 and then hit enter. And it'll change it out here. So maybe we wanted a 2.5 there, so maybe 2.5, and then if you look here and then hit enter, it updates, right? So you can get exactly specific stones out there that you might need, and this will come in handy at times trying to fill little niches and nicks that you wanted to get into in order to lay out your gemstones properly. So keep that in mind. You can always go back and manipulate things over here, which we'll be doing a lot of here as we get more into it, right? So let's just say, let's take this back to 2, and that's a, let's take that to 4, and that is a 1, and we'll just drag this over the side here and click that, right? So we have a baguette out here. Another thing is sometimes when you're laying out tapered baguettes, you might want to draw your baguette out exactly the size that you want it. Maybe you're not, you have some real tight curves, and you want to just instead of trying to use all the handles and going over and changing, you might want to just lay it out, right? So let's show how to do that. Make a baguette from scratch. So we'll go to our surfaces and we'll go to corner points. We'll make sure our grid snaps are on and we're at a 0.5. That's fine. We'll just go up here and make it a 2, just like our other one there. And we'll take it down to a 4. So it's a 0.5 right there and a 0.5 right here, and now we have a 2 by 4 by 1, so it's the exact same size as this one here, right? So the next thing we need to do is get our girdle, right? So we'll just go ahead, hold down Alt, click here, and we'll just type in a 0.1 and then hit enter. So there's our girdle. We'll click here now, we'll hold down Alt, and you can type in or, oh, I got my grid snaps on. Let's turn those off. Type in or drag it up, depending on what you're wanting to do, right? And we can see it's pretty close to that one there. And then just grab your checkerboard here, hold down Shift, and we want to make that a little smaller there, right? And once you get that in there, it's going to break history, no big deal. You can go in and manipulate it even more width and lengthwise if you want to, so we can get it really close to that any size that you want, right? So now we have our table here. We have the top of our girdle here. We have the bottom of a girdle. So now we need to get this other line right here, right? So we'll just go ahead and grab this one. We'll hold down Alt and we'll drag it down some, however far you want it. And again, go back to your checkerboard, hold down Shift and kind of draw that in however you want it as well. And you can get that to whatever size that you want as well in there. So let's take a look. That's pretty close. Maybe a little bit further down, but no big deal. All right, so you can get that, right? And the last thing we want to do is go in here. I'll change to yellow here. And we want to grab a line, right? Because we need the culet of our stone. And I'll make sure my mid snaps are on. And I'll select right there to that mid on this one here. And then go over to the mid on the other side there and click there, and then click on my curve, and we need to drag that down a little depending on how you want it. And then we'll definitely need to, it doesn't come straight down, right? So you'll need to drag that in however far you want it that way as well. So we have something like that. So let's just take that. We'll take it down close to our other one that we have here. Since it's out there, we have something to look at. We'll just do something like that. All right. So I'm going to take these green here, and I'm going to switch them to a different layer, just so, because we're going to need to get some curves, right? In order to make it easy, we don't want to do each one individually. We want to do them all at the same time, right? So, if you try to do a loft from here, parametric loft, grab them all and then hit enter, kind of nothing, right? So what we'll need to do is go ahead and get these curves for this. So what we're going to do is go to our curve, and I'll switch these to a red layer here, and we'll go from object, and we'll just duplicate border, all these here, and then hit enter. Right, so now we have those curves out there, and now we can go ahead and just turn that layer off. We don't need it anymore. Now we can go to our surface, and we can do that loft, and we can just grab all those and just go to loft, and it'll give you the norm, right? Just go to loft norm, from loft norm to loft straight, right? And there's 90% of your baguette. And then we'll just grab this top curve here, and we will go to a planar curve, and we'll accept that. I think I did twice. Yep, sure did. And we'll change that to our green layer here. All right. Now we can go back to our loft, but first, before we go to the loft, this curve is all one. So if that's not laying out exactly where you want it or whatever, make sure you change it now while everything's still updated. So you can update it anywhere you want, right? Depending on before you nuke it. So we'll take this up a little. Take it up a little bit more, maybe. So before you take it, you could actually duplicate it, I guess. But duplicate it in place and then save the one, I guess, in order to keep that history there. But I'm just going to go ahead and nuke it for right now. And then I can go to my loft and I can select that one curve there and then my curve here and then get that. And then I can go right click to bring it back and go here to here and click. So I got my little base there, right? And now it's still kind of not so good, I don't think. So I'll first of all accept that. And I can still grab my curve here and adjust wherever I want, right? And it's going to update so I can get exactly what I'm wanting to do here, depending on, you know, whatever it is you want to do. But you can manipulate this all day long. So there you go for that. And then in order to get this last piece here, I'll go ahead and change to my green layer. And if I do, oh, well, I could try a loft from here to here, and that closes that off, but it gets rid of my other surface. So if I accept it, I can go back to my loft, and which one is it? Maybe this one, show. So it's there. But it got rid of that other surface, so we have to go back and do all that show stuff, right? If you don't want to do the show stuff, you can always just do the normal loft, and you can well, not normal loft. You can go to suite 2, grab this one, this one, this one here, and then come down here to point and select that point there, and everything locks up, right? So it's good to go. So now I can go ahead, select all this gray, and I can, or red, and select all my yellow, change it to gray, and just hide it, right? And I can select all this and go to my tools and join parametric, and then hit enter. And I don't need this surface, so I'll switch it to gray as well. And we should have a closed poly surface, which we do. So the next thing we need to do is just change it to our gemstone layer. And then if you go to your render mode, you can see that it's laying out pretty much exactly like our gemstone that we did from our builder. But of course, this isn't going to say gemstone. It's not a gem, it's poly surfaces, right? But it'll render out as a gem. And if I show, I guess, we'll select this one, we'll select this one. Well, actually, I should just go to ray trace maybe. Okay, so it's both given there. Let's go check my document, nothing in there. So let's select, I don't want that. Let's go ahead. Let's take this here real quick and hide it, and let's get rid of all these little pieces that we don't need. One more time just to make sure. Okay. All right, so I can select this, I can select this, I can go to my materials, go to diamond, go to apply, and you can see it pretty much looks exactly the same, right? No big deal. So now we have a custom baguette that we made ourselves out there. And sometimes doing it this way because of a curve or something that you're working on, so it could come in handy. So that's why I'm kind of presenting it. And there's a lot we're going in here to look at. So I'll try to put timestamps in the video so that you can jump to whatever part you're wanting to take a look at. So this is how to custom make your own baguette, which could come in handy at times. So we'll move on to the next segment now. Okay, in this segment, what we'll do is we'll actually design something. Again, we're going to, we started very easily by making the baguette, and now we're going to be doing something kind of easy as well. But there's some things in here that might be beneficial when dealing with the baguette. Tapered baguettes. So we're going to do a item. We'll just do a halo baguette ring, right? So we'll just not my favorite design. My wife would kill me if I ever made one, especially for her. And we'll just grab that. We'll go to gems and we'll just put a gem on ring rail here, and we'll just go ahead and snap that up there. And we'll just take the default. I don't want to do a lot of manipulating with it, I guess, because really it's just about the halo, right? So we can go to our halo, we can go to settings, and we can grab a halo, and we can select our gem, and then it'll activate our halo builder. And of course we don't want those rounds, and you cannot pick rounds from our menu here, unfortunately. I mean, you cannot pick baguettes from this menu, only princess cut and rounds. So what we want to do is we want to scroll down here, channel gems enabled. We just want to get rid of that. Now let's put some shading on it. Now you could use the channel there. If that's the channel, you know, you could go ahead and set it up for the size that you want. So let's turn those back on here real quick. So we have the stones out here, right? And we could go ahead, and maybe you're wanting 2mm baguettes and width-wise out there, right? And we can bring this in, but it should still keep our 2mm. Yeah. So, you know, if there's a certain lengthwise that you want to get in there, go ahead and set it up, you know, this way. But then you can come on over here and then deactivate your stones, which kind of takes you back to that. I thought it would stay. But that's okay. If it doesn't, you can go ahead and activate it. Now they're 2mm, and just go ahead and take it, and take your stones and take your prongs, and just go ahead and either delete them or change them to another color and get rid of them, right? Or I guess I should go back here. Let's go ahead. Let's go back. Well, let's go forward one. All right. We'll go ahead and pick our halo again, and we'll just do an edit. Or if you wanted to, you could go in here and channel gems. Just go ahead and turn that off. Go to your halo, and let's see, where's it at? Channel, right? Just go ahead and turn your channel off, and then you can manipulate this whatever thickness you want, and go ahead and cut your stones in there once you get them laid out. So there are different ways to do it depending on what's comfortable for you and what you're trying to do. So we'll just go ahead and we'll go ahead and keep the channel on for this demonstration. So it already has our channel out there, right? Wall overlap, and okay. So we'll just go ahead and take that, right? And now what we'll want to do is we'll just go to extract an ISO curve from that surface. We'll go 90 degrees, and we'll try to set it up in our center there. If I remember correctly, it's a little difficult to get the halo ISO curve in the center. Maybe I'm wrong. 50, huh? Not so bad. All right, and then we'll just go ahead and accept that, right? Now, when we put stones, baguettes on a curve, right? So if we select our curve here and we go to gems and we go to gems on curve, first let's go ahead and select our target surface there. Excuse me. If you go to the gems, you know, and you want to put your gems on there, it only gives you baguette straight, which is, you know, not really exactly what we want, right? So there's a lot more manipulation that we have to do. But the first thing I think would be just take that from a 2.5 to a 0. Just go ahead and put it back to 0, so you only have one stone out there. Or, well, maybe not. Let's take it to a 0.01. There, we only want the one stone out there. And then we can, right now we're still in straight, no big deal. And then we'll just make it the width that we want it, so that it's going to go in there, right? However, the width, so that it sets in there nice and neatly, right? And let's see, make sure. Okay, so we could go in here and we could toggle this on, right? Or turn off our lock, right? And now, right now it's all straight baguette, right? So we're not going to, I mean, if you take this one, it's not giving us all the dimensions that we want, right? So we can't taper this side out, this side in, or anything else, right? So not a lot we can do with it, right? But we'll go ahead and accept it. So I'll just right click to accept it. So we have this stone, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into gem override, all right? The first thing we want to do is check this stone one more time for its length, because that we don't want to mess with. So it's a 2 millimeter length, right? Okay, so we'll just go ahead and accept that. So we know it's 2 millimeters in length because it's going to change now and we'll have to do everything manually. And that's the fun with tapered baguettes. So what we're going to do is going to gem override. All right. And we're just going to go ahead and accept that. And then we're going to come over and gem here. It'll put a gem in your dynamic command and we'll just go to edit. We'll go to baguette set, straight baguette, and scroll down here. Now we have baguette tapered, right? But it takes it out to a very large size, right? But we know because we checked it, it's 2 millimeters. So we're just going to go over here and type in 2 and then hit enter. So we know that's 2 millimeters. Now it's just all a guessing game for the most part, which is the fun with baguettes. So let's go ahead. Our back side there, both of them are 3, so we don't know which one's which yet. You know, you can mess around with the handles there, but it kind of snaps it back to different lengths and stuff. So maybe that's not the best thing to do. Let's go ahead and unlock that again. Take that back to 2. So everything pretty much kind of has to be done by typing. Okay. So let's take this one. Let's say, let's try 1.5 and then hit enter. So we have the 1.5 out there and we know our length is 2. That's 2.5. That's 2.5, 2.5. I thought I put 1.5. Let's type in 1.5. And then let's change it to 2. Let's take this one down to a 1. And oh, okay, I got them backwards. This is the 2.5, that's the 1. So, okay. I want to switch those. So I'm going to take this one to a 1, enter, and then I'm going to take this one to a, I'll just take 2 for right now. So we have this out there, and we still have our 2 millimeter width. And I am going to actually make this a little bit thinner. So I'm going to type in a 0.5 and hit enter too. So our depth is, oh, no, 0.05 and hit enter. And that's a pretty wicked stone there. Let me check it out here. Yeah, I did something 96%. Oh, this here, let's take that down to a 1. Okay. And we can turn on so we can kind of see what we get. Actually, we can go ahead and get rid of this for right now so we can kind of see what's going on out here. And we can continue to play around. Let's take this to a 0.03 and then hit enter. All right. I didn't really see much going on out there. Of course, I wasn't watching. All right, so we have this out here, right? And we have it at an angle, and you can adjust that angle any way you want. So there's our stone. And if you mess with any of the handles, it's going to snap back. Everything has to be done over here. So I'm going to take this from a 1 to a 0.8 and then hit enter. There we go. I like that better. All right. So we have this out here. Let's put our... Now, like I said, it's just a guessing game. So let's go to our top view. Let's give it some shading here so we can kind of see. That's probably not going to be exactly what I want, but let's go ahead and check. So we'll just go ahead and right click to accept that. Now we'll select this stone. We'll go to transform. We'll go to polar array. We'll change it from our Y to our Z, and then we'll just start laying stones out there to kind of see how it's manipulating out, right? And we can see here, let's go ahead and hide our green again. We got some overlapping here. So we'll need to do some adjustments, and we got way too much space in here, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and take this for right now. And over here, my gem, right, if I go back and edit it, and again, everything has to be done over here. And I think this was the top. This is the 2mm here. So we'll take this one, and we'll just go ahead and type in a 1.9 and hit enter. And you can see everything updates, and you can see I got a little bit of space there. Maybe I don't want that much space. Maybe I want to make it a little bit. So I can go to a 1.95 and then hit enter. And now I have just a small little space there between each one. But we have to clean up this here. This needs to go bigger, so that's 1. So we'll take this 1 and we'll type in a 1. We'll try 2 and then hit enter. And you can see we're pretty close. That's pretty good. You can play around with that some more. You could do a 1.22 and hit enter and close it up even more, right? So there you go. And then we'll just turn that on. And we can come back in here and take a look at it. And this stone here is kind of with all those stones, right? So maybe we want that depth in there a little bit more. So we're going to drag that down. We want that depth a little bit deeper, right? And then we'll just go ahead and hit enter, right? Now that's not going to do anything with our cutter there as far as the channel, but what we can do is we can select those stones. We can just go to our cutters and go to gem cutter, and it pretty much lays out exactly what's out there, right? And we can give it, we'll go ahead and hide this. And we can kind of play around with this until we get it to where we like it. Go to offset, we go to wireframe, lay it out, right? And that looks, for the most part, maybe a little bit in so that all our stones are got a seat there. Adjust that around however you want, and then you can just go ahead and take it and then go back to your item there, and then just go from, oh, did I check the depth? I don't think that I did, so let's check that real quick. You could probably go up, so let's go back to our channel cutter and edit. Where's my placement? Right here, maybe just a little bit more. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Let's give it some shading, and now we can go to our solid Boolean difference, this surface enter, this surface enter, and enter, and now we have our stones out there, right? Last thing you need to do is just go ahead and put your cutters on there. And with cutters, turn off our green. With baguettes, again, you don't want to do your cutters for your jeweler unless, he wants them done. And to tell you the truth, I wouldn't even do the cutters this way. I would just draw a little line on the inside of the shank, because most jewelers will take a little ball burr and just get a scriber in with that rail, and then they'll just use the microscope to take a little ball burr all the way around. That way the gemstones can be slid and around and tightened up however they feel like they need. But here, there's not you have to really, if you're wanting the render to come out pretty good, you don't want to make this cut, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to cover up all this blue, right? And in order to do that, our girdle needs to be very, very thick, right? Either here or going out something like this, but it needs to be very thick. And then of course this needs to maybe come up to cover all that blue. So we need to cover all that blue up in order to get our cutter to, or our render to get, rid of all that metal around our stones, so none of it's touching it. So we get nice color in our gemstones, right? So basically you'll want to save it before you do any kind of cutting. So let's just go ahead and do that. So let's save it over here. So we have it. And there we go. All right. So now you can just, now again, if you try doing your cutter with the cutter set up like this, it would probably not work. So I'll show you what I mean. Boolean difference, enter, and then enter. And it blows, right? Because all those cutters are overlapping. It's not really liking it. So what you'll want to do, select those cutters. You'll want to ungroup them, and then just select, well, you can go ahead and do your Boolean difference. Select our first surface, enter. Our second surface will be every other one. And we have two right there together, and we'll just go ahead and enter on this one. And that one blue as well. So not fun there. Maybe I had two together, I didn't see. So let's go ahead and grab that. First, let's check this. Do we have a closed surface here? Closed polysurface. And all those should be closed. So let's go back and try it one more time. We'll just select this as our first surface, enter. And I'll do it from this side this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll just do this one here, and then go ahead and hit enter, and it blew for some reason. Why? Go back. Huh. Okay, let's do an edit on these. Gem cutters, edit. Let's go ahead and drag these up. Maybe that'll help a little. I doubt it, but who knows. And let's turn off our green here. Get a better look. We don't want any of our gems showing. Okay, just kind of play around with it a little. See if any kind of small thing will work. All right, so let's go ahead and do a Boolean. First surface, enter, and we'll just, those are all grouped together. We definitely don't want to do them all together, so let's ungroup them. Boolean difference. First surface, enter, and I'm just going to select a couple of them this time, see if that'll work. Yeah, those worked. All right, right click, enter. All right, so far so good. Selecting them individually here. I think that's the one that's messing it up. Oh. Right click, bring back, first surface, enter. This one, this one, this one. Oh, okay. Right click here, enter. This one, this one, this one, this one. Enter. Right click, enter. Second surface. Oh, there we go. All right. And as you can see, that's kind of thin down there. But and if we hide our gemstones, you can kind of see it's giving us the cutouts there. So but this way now you can get into your you know, your renderer and hopefully be able to lay it out to, excuse me. Let's see if I have anything in there. No. Okay, so we'll go to stone. We'll just grab all those gemstones, change them to diamond, and go in here and activate that. And you can see it gives you a little bit better a diamond layout, right? Nice. They're a little bit brighter, and you can always go in there and adjust that. That's another video. But there you go. That's for the render purposes. I'm not going to go ahead and close out that or finish out that ring because it's not really about the item itself. It's about the baguettes. But that's how you can get just a rounded shape using your baguettes, right? Let's go in here and take a look at these stones here real quick. So I think when I dropped them down, they moved them a little. Looks like it did, but they're pretty tight. But you can always go back and adjust those as well. So hopefully that one is a little helpful. They're like right on each other. But that's kind of how the jeweler is going to butt them up. All right, but it'll offer you a really good render, I think. So let's go ahead and go into the one that's a little bit more fun and not fun, more detailed, I guess. But not bad. Keep moving forward here. Sorry, playing around. All right, so let's keep on moving on, and we'll move on to the next segment. Okay, in this last one, we're going to show the fun one. The one that takes a lot of time, I guess. You know, and the more time you spend on it, actually, the better it'll be. I'm just going to kind of rip through it, just because it will really basically just show you the basics. But it takes a little time to get everything out, but the procedure and the steps are all the same for doing something like this. So what we'll do is we'll get us a ring out here first. So we'll just make a real quick ring here. Well, maybe not that quick, but quick enough. So we'll go something like this. Put that out there. We'll hold down Shift. Drag that out to 2.5 because we want it to go clang instead of cling. Or thud versus ting. And we'll take that up something. We'll take it up pretty high so we can get a nice little view there going out. And we'll select this ring or the inside ring rail, and we'll go to gems, and we'll slap a gem on the ring rail there. And this one we'll just, for fun, we'll change it to, not that we're going to really do anything with it. Cushion cut right here. We'll just do something like that, and we'll just go ahead and bump that up a little bit. Grab our inside ring rail, go to our tools, get a profile, and first of all we'll just go ahead and slap it over here, and we'll move it somewhere so it's something like this here, and we'll get something that's something we can put some baguettes on, right? And let's see, there's a lot in here we could work with, but let's see, let's go with something like maybe something like this. I don't know if I like that little ting out there though. Well, we'll just go with maybe something like this here. We'll just try this here. All right. So let's see. Yeah, that one, or we'll try this one here. We'll try this one. Why not? Okay, so we got that, and we'll go ahead and rotate mirror. We'll flip that off, and then we'll drag this out something like this, nice and wide. And so and we'll mirror it on the other side there, and then we'll go to our front view, hold down Shift, and put one down there at the bottom. We don't want the one at the bottom that long. We'll drag that one into like around a 3 something. Again, I'm not really worried too much about all the extra tiny little things there. We're just kind of going to go to the baguettes. So let's go in and go to surface. Excuse me. And here, and here, and then right click. So we have that out there, and let's give it some shading. And we have that, so let's give it a little bit more because that looks kind of bulky and not very cool. And we'll go maintain height, and we'll turn that off. So we got something like that. Now it looks like a nice little piece there with the Euro shank on it and everything. Okay, so we'll take that. All right, so we're going to put some baguettes in here, and as you can see, it's going to go wider down to thinner, and there's a lot of stuff in there, right? So the first thing we'll do is we want to be a little bit more precise on our ISO curves on this one. Or our cutout, right? So we're going to go from object, and we're going to dupe an edge, and we'll just dupe this edge and dupe this one, and then hit enter. And let's change those to yellow right there, and let's go ahead and change to our yellow color. All right, we want to offset those, so we'll go to offset on surface, offset curve on surface. We'll select this curve, hit enter. Oh, sorry, right click, select this curve, and then select this surface, and there it is. 0.5 is what I want, so I'll just go ahead and hit enter here. So it offsets it to a 0.5, and I'll right click, bring it back, pick this one here, select this surface, and we're already at a 0.5, so we'll just offset it there. So now we have a 0.5 here and a 0.5 there, so that channel will be at least a 0.5 millimeter in width, and I'm just going to delete those right now. All right, and they're gone. And then I'll go through here and extract an ISO curve, and we'll drag that ISO curve, and we'll flip that to 180, and we want to give this some little, so right around there is probably okay. And then we'll hit enter, and then I'll just right click, bring it back again, 180. I'm not going to put a whole bunch of stones in there, so I'm not going to go way down here. I'm just going to go something like this here, just to kind of show how to do it a little bit. But you can drag it out wherever you want. Now I'm going to just check those dimensions here real quick to make sure it's, you know, going to be halfway decent. So intersection to intersection at 1.1, that should be okay. Well, that's a pretty small baguette. What was it? 1.1, so around a 1 millimeter. That's a pretty small baguette. And then we'll try this one here. 2 point something, I think it was. So let's go again. One over there. Yeah, 2.3. That's fine there. This is a little thin, but they do make 1 millimeter by, you know, small ones. So we'll just take that. Now I'm just going to turn off everything that I don't need, so it's not in the way. So I'm going to select these profiles, and we'll just turn them to gray and hide them, so we can just get rid of them for right now. Now I'll select this little piece here, and we'll do some trim action, and we'll get rid of these two here, this, and then enter, and then join together, so we have that right. And we'll bring back our ring. All right, now we'll just do a surface push-pull right here, and it automatically takes it out there, and I think it's 0.5, so that's kind of fine for me, I think. And I'll take this and turn it to green, and I'll take that yellow and we'll turn it over to gray, because, well, actually I'll undo that because we probably want to use those edges to kind of lay out our stones a little bit, so we'll just keep them out there. Now I'll go to my curves and extract an ISO curve from the inside here, and we want to put it right there at our 0.5, and then we want to go in here, grab that curve. Now there's a lot of ways to do this. Is one way to do it. So we'll go ahead and do that. Hold on a second. And we'll go to our gems, and we'll go to gems on curve, and we'll go to target surface, and we'll select this surface here. And we will change these to baguettes. And when you go to baguettes for gems on curve, they only give you the straight, but that's what we'll do. And we'll go through here and drag those over something like this here. Let's see, I don't think I want that all the way in there. Something like, maybe a little bit further in, something like that. And that one, we definitely don't want it go in there, and we want to make those a little bit bigger so that they're kind of above our curve. Now these over here are going to be way above our curve, but you'll see what we're going to do in a few, so no big deal. Next thing I want to do is I want to get these as close as possible, so that I don't have to do a ton of manipulating. I'm going to already have to do quite a bit. So I'm going to go over here from minimum and go to fixed. And then I'm going to mess around with these curves and see if I can Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now they're real tight, right? And they're overlapping, which is fine, really, for right now. And I'm going to turn off my gray. So we have something like this here. We could even probably go in here and do a little taper, maybe. I don't know if it will really do anything for us for the most part, because we have to go back and do this. So taper end, we'll just go ahead and taper in. We'll drag these down, something like that. I don't think that'll really do anything for us, but, and we'll take these just a pinch up more. So something like that. And they're overlapping, right? Okay, so we'll just go ahead and take that. And I have my gems turned off, so let's turn them on. And let's take this, just go here. We don't really need it, get in the way. All right, now this is not flat, right? It's kind of got a little angle going on. So there's a lot we're going to have to pay attention to when we lay out everything. So let me... someone's calling me, so let's get rid of that. I think it's the wife. Probably tell me dinner's ready. And we'll kind of go ahead and get started on this. All right. So we have these gems out here. They're overlapping, but they're real close together. So it shouldn't be too hard, hopefully, to go in here and redo. So we're going to go in, and what it's going to do is kind of... jack everything up for us. But the first thing we're going to do is go ahead in here and ungroup those, and we're going to grab this one stone, and we're going to go to gem override. All right, and then we're going to select that gem, and the first thing I'm going to do is select that, check out that size, because it's, you know, it's not too far off from where we want it. So it's a 1.5. So now we want to go to baguette straight, go down here to tapered, and it's going to jack it all the way up there. Right now we don't want to, you can move these if you want, you know, to maybe 1.5. So there's that 1.5 again, and actually that's looking pretty good. But really what we want to do is go in here and let's turn this off. Start to manipulate it a little bit, right? Now we can't really use the handles because it'll just not really give us a nice, you know, nice little flow, I guess. So first of all, we want to probably spin this one around, something like this, because we want it to kind of butt up with our end right here, right? And we'll just kind of move it up a little bit, and we'll drag it over. Now that with that gem, it gives us all the commands over here, right? But we'll go ahead and take this over because we're going to make it a little bit bigger. This is a 1, so we'll go in here, we'll break that so that now we have total control over here. And this one here, that's a 1. We'll go ahead and type in a 1.3 and see what that looks like. Okay, that's good. All right, and now this one here, this is a 0.75. We'll go in here and type in a 1.1 and just see how that goes. Oh, there we go. Not too bad, right? So this is kind of our first stone here. And, you know, you can play around with that even more to get it a little bit more to your liking or whatever. But it's laying out there pretty good. Let's turn on our green here to take a look. Yeah, and it's not too bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that one's good, and we'll go in here and accept that, right? Now we'll select here. We'll go back to ungroup. So now we'll select this one and go to gem override, and we'll select our edit, and right away again 1.75 because it's pretty close to where we want it, right? And now I'll go to my choice of shape, and we'll go down here and change it to a tapered, and again you can use your handles here to get it to the 1.75. Something like that, and now we can manipulate this a little bit, right? So this one here's 1.5, this one's here at 1.25, So they look like they've kind of got to go in. That one's okay right here, but this is too long, but we could adjust that one, right? And this is a little too long. So 1.5 here, we'll come over here, break that. And 1.5, we'll take it to a 1.4 and check that out. All right, still needs to go in a little bit more. It's kind of a guessing game. 1.3. And that's pretty close. Our length, maybe we don't need it so wide there. So let's go from 1.5 to a 1.6 and see what that looks like. And if we drag this up a little bit, we have a little notch there and we have a little notch down here, right? And let's go to our shaded here real quick and give it some shading. And we can, move that over a little bit. And you could actually go to a rotate after you click off of it and rotate it a little bit. Or you could use the handle here, which is a little bit more touchy, but there we go. So something like that, let's just say. And we'll take that. All right, so we have two of them set up. We have this one and this one. Now let's go back and turn off our green, and let's select these, and we'll go back to ungroup and click off, click on this one, go to override, go to this gem one, right? And check our distance out because it's fairly close, 2.0. So we'll go over here to our builder, and we'll change it from to a tapered, from a straight baguette to a tapered. And again, it was a 2.0, so we'll take this down to a 1.75. And we got a little hangover there. Let's see if this one can bump up a little. Yeah, and 1.8 maybe. So we'll break that, and we'll just go in here and type in a 1.8. And now we have an overlap here and overlap there, so it's okay. And we're overlapping here a little bit, right? So this is a 1.5, this is a 1.25, so 1.5, this one's a little off, this one's okay. So we'll go ahead and deal with this top one first. So 1.5, we'll take it from 1.5 to a maybe 1.3. And maybe let's go ahead down here, 1.25. So we'll go to 1.25 to 1.1 and in there. And so we got enough spacing there. Maybe this should go just a little bit more. So 1.3, we'll do a 1.25 and hit enter. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And again, we can move this around a little so that we have a little offset on here, because it's getting wider, right? So we're going to have a little bit of indentation in here. They don't make baguettes. Well, like maybe they do. Cut kind of strange. Usually they're straight across, right? But tapered, right? So we'll just go ahead and say this is okay. So we'll click off that, and again we would just want to check it with our shading, and yeah, there we go. It looks okay. So far so good. And we'll go back and get rid of our green here, and we'll take these three and we'll ungroup that, and we'll go to gem override again, and we'll select this one this time, and we'll edit it. Oh, it select all of them, so let's grab this one. And it's all three of those. We don't want all three, we just want this one. Edit. Okay, so this one here, and we'll go to edit, and we'll check that distance, 2.5. okay, 2.25, and tapered, and we'll take that handle, drag that down to 2.25, or pretty close to it. Let's try 2. Looks like it might be pretty close, so okay. And now we need to adjust this and this, because we have a little hangover on both sides, right? We want to tighten that one up and make this one a little bit thinner. So this one's 1.25, that one's 1.5, so we'll go over here, break this. 1.5 is our top, so let's take that one down to a 1.1 and just see what that looks like. Maybe a little bit more. Just 1. There we go. We got enough spacing there. And then down here, this is 1.25. Let's go ahead and take that down to a 0.9 and see what that looks like. 0.9 might be a little bit thin. But actually we could probably just go ahead, take this and kind of maybe bring it over a little, and our length looks a little bit long, so let's go to 1.9 here, and now it's too short, so 1.9, so we'll do a length 1.95. And now we have a little hangover, and that one's still, so 2.0 is probably good. So we'll go back to 2. Yeah, all right. And just kind of check it, make sure. Now let's go ahead and bump that up just a little. Yeah, let's check it. Let's go in here. Let's give it some shading, and there we go. And we can maybe move this over just a smidge, so we got a little bit opening there. All right, you can see what we're doing, right? And you can keep moving that around. Let's go here. You can always go back and edit the one that you want to edit. Right. Okay. And you could manipulate this if you wanted to. It looks like it's a little long in there, right? But you could always even just go in there and grab your here and make that a little bit smaller as well. So let's just go ahead and grab that one, put it back in our override, and then we'll just go ahead and edit it just a little bit more. Let's see, that's on, so 2.2. I think we had a 2, right? Let's go ahead and turn that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and we will accept that. All right, but as you can see, it's just you know, the more time you take setting it up, the better it's going to look. Let's go ahead and hide that. And this one, actually, it looks pretty good. We're just going to maybe move this one just a little. It's moving both of them. So let's go into the gem override here. And then now we have it. So we'll just go in here and manipulate it this way. So that it just does the one and not both of them. Okay, there's that. And then we have spacing, so that's probably okay. Now we could probably bring this, I mean, down just a little. Still maybe, yeah, it looks okay. We'll have to check it with our, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that back off. We just want to maybe tighten both ends up. It's a straight baguette, but it looks pretty good in that location. So, and this one we'll just have to deal with. So we'll just go ahead and maybe take this width down to maybe a 0.8. So it gives us something like that, and we'll just bump that one over a little. There we go. And we'll accept that. All right, now we just have this one here, so we'll go to gem override. We'll go to our gem, and first thing we'll do is kind of play around with it a little. Let's see, our length is pretty good, it looks like, but we have this little area here, right? And we need to taper it, so let's go ahead and change that. Let's check our 2.5 tapered baguette. Drag that down to 2.5. So we got that, and way too big there. So we're gonna have to do some major manipulate. Let's mess around with this down here. 1.5. Let's break that. 1.5. We'll go to a 0.5 and something like that. And our top there, 2.0. We'll take it down to maybe a 1.7. Maybe a little more, so 1.7. Do all your adjustments though from over here, because if you move those, it'll just snap back to the original. So we'll go to 1.5. Yeah, that looks okay. And then right away, we'll just kind of swing this one in something like this, and then bring it over and bring it down. And just kind of play around with it to where you get it. Let's take that over. See, it's kind of, we could probably bump this a little bit smaller. So this is 1.5. Let's go ahead and click here. Let's put in 1.3. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And let's just kind of bump that over a little and maybe rotate it a little. And there we go. All right. So we'll check it out in our, there we go. Now all you have to do is rotate or select these curves and go ahead and take all your blue, hold down shift, hold it. Okay, we'll just select it, hold down shift, select, and select. And we'll go to transform, mirror in our XY multi so that they're all out there. And now that those are all there, right, they're grouped together. So let's go ahead and ungroup those. And let's grab this thing here, because now we can just select the one, and we can go to surface and do a push pull and hit enter, and then we'll grab this curve here, right click, push pull, and then right click again and select this curve here, and then hit enter, and there we go. All right, and we'll take this, turn it back to green, bring back our original stone there, and we can continue to add more design to it. But we have our baguettes out there that don't look too bad. But again, you can take more time closing up those gaps and messing around with your stones. It just all depends on how much time you want to spend on it. But you can really get them to where they're, again, and it's just going back and going back to your gems here. Let's see, let's make sure I'm on the, yeah, okay. Hovering over it, right? Okay, it's on the other side here. So if I hover over, that's that one. I just play it. Yeah, I can just keep playing around with them. Edit, go to my spacing. Instead of a 0.8, maybe I want a 0.9. Hit enter, and it butts it up. I mean, so you can just keep playing around with it till you get it nice and smooth. But the nice thing about doing it this way is now when I go to my tools and I go to my tech report, I have all my gems listed for my jeweler, at least to be able to get some kind of idea of what kind of stones where. But usually they don't match up exactly the same. The jeweler does some kind, we kind of readjust things around, plus you got a little shrinkage, so they may not line up exactly where you want to, but at least it gives them something to go by, right? But there you go. Just do your cutouts and you're good to go. So hopefully that kind of gives you got an opal for center there, gives you a little ideas for how to do those kind of things. And again, like I said, it's just taking time to go through there. You could also go in and do your gems on surface and then put one gem out there, adjust it to where you want it, and then go back and grab another gem and do the override, because you're placing a gem. It's not going, I don't think it's going to, let's get rid of that. Gem on surface, sorry. Gems will give you a tapered baguette, of course, but gems on surface, I don't believe will. So here, yeah, only the straight. You'll have to go to the gem override and redo it. But hopefully that helps, and if it does, please leave a comment, share the content, and let me know if it helps at all. Thanks a lot for watching, and good designing.